Hey guys, Palsteron here, and today let's talk about my day 1 of patch 0.2, which has to have been the worst experience I've ever had in any RPG. Ever. It is across the board. Basically anything that isn't extremely good early has been absolutely destroyed. Constant DCs, monster HP. So as far as, I haven't played with this yet, I literally just woke up, but yeah. Crazy stuns everywhere. I was literally going through zones where I never had any issues, and I was just getting chain stunned, and I did, like, it was an absolute, like, it was insanity. Unkillable rares, little tip here, if you face rares, now they did fix one here, the life regen one, which, good idea, right? Like unkillable rares, but there's others, right? Don't get me wrong. You go here and you go respawn a checkpoint, right? And then you reset it. So the rare will appear again, but it will have new mods, just FYI. And there's also rares that literally just one-shot you, and like, I don't know who made this damage. So as far as I understand, there's like new mods in the game. It used to be that it was like early on you get res, you get extra damage, and that is kind of about it. There's a few outliers. But now there's these mods that are literally just like made for endgame, clearly made for endgame. I don't understand, but okay. Yeah. Maybe they'll fix that as well. For now, I've just seen that the life reaching got removed. Now, there are also some good news though, at least for now. It seems like this crit node is pretty damn busted. Similar to how people thought it would work. So that's pretty cool. I don't know if that's gonna hold on to endgame or if it's just because enemies right now have like almost no accuracy, but I will scale it up. Let's see if that kind of like resonates. But so far, yeah, Amazon has been awesome, right? So I have also some good news, but the rest is going to be basically trimmed towards the Amazon crossbow build I've played. I'll give you some tips. First, use all your exalts to buy weapons. If you're an SSF, that sucks. I guess you can use them on weapons, but don't do that usually on trade. You should buy yourself a weapon. Now, the way you do that currently is you go here, you select either bow or crossbow, depending on what you're doing right now. Let's say crossbow, and you go damage, right? Damage per second here. And let's say I want something similar to what I have, right? You go to requirements, and here's where it gets funky, right? So crossbow bases, for example, have different requirements. It's like, I don't know, for example, 16, 20, 24. You can look that up on Period2DB or whatever you want, or you can just type in whatever you have, right? So let's say, okay, required level 26, and then you type in damage per second, let's say 130, right? You search, and then you see, okay, 524 results, right? Scroll down to the exalts. I know you probably don't have these alks, and you see a lot of results for one exalt. You can even go a little bit higher, right? Do note that the ones with open rune sockets are even more premium, because you can put in flat damage, like these lesser runes that you're probably going to have at this point. So those also increase your DPS. And on that topic, let's talk what a good weapon is, okay? Flat physical damage, percentage physical damage, cold damage, fire damage, lightning damage. Number on top go up, right? If you have, what's the app called again? Exile Exchange 2, and you download it and you press Control D, you will see your DPS right here. For example, this is a 141. Everything else, right? Like crit chance, crit bonus, increased attack speed, right? Like all those cute stats are important later, but right now that's all that counts. Also, if you have blacksmith whetstones for quality, you can use them. I personally held out for it for now because this has felt pretty good, but if I'm struggling, I'm probably going to do this. Actually, who am I kidding? Let's just put it on. Boom. Boom. Okay, whatever. So I got a little bit more DPS. It went from 141 to 142. Let's go. All right. So every damage counts. Everything's tankier this patch. I don't know what the hell is going on. Like I said, they just hotfixed everything as a fourth of their HP, but I'm pretty sure they doubled or tripled the monster. I have no idea. Like I'm not getting gaslit by this. Okay, I'm not gonna go get myself gaslit. So the next thing is ascend ASAP. As Ziggy said in his video, this node is very good, and maybe it's like a bug if you look at, for example, Galvanic Shard right here, so you can look how much crit you have. Maybe it's a bug, but it seems like you go from 5 to 29 crit if you stand next to the enemy. If you don't know, standing next to an enemy, you have really good accuracy, and this node basically gives you crit depending on your accuracy against the enemy. And it's not sheet accuracy, it's live accuracy against that one monster. So if the monster has more evasion, you have less crit chance. If you stand further away, you have less crit chance. And it actually feels really good. So just FYI. Now, next thing is the passive tree and the skills. I'm going to quickly show you a little bit of how this plays right now. So I just logged into the game after like the hotfix. So let's see if enemies are at least a little bit less tanky. But yeah. So right now I'm rocking galvanic shards. That was a blue pack. Yeah, that would have been a white pack before the hotfix. Okay, well, there you go. All right. So we're going galvanic shards plus ripwire ballista. I also have auto attack on single target. Now you can do rapid fire if you really, really want to, but I personally, yeah, this feels like night and day. Jesus, yesterday was like, okay, yeah, this feels like night and day. Thank the Lord, at least a little bit better. Now, a big jump also is going to be artillery ballista. We're going to talk about that in a bit. But yeah, so you can, basically what happens is you can put down your ballista and it will pin, but it will also deal pretty good damage. You won't really notice the damage on packs, but you will notice it on single target. It will probably give you like 40-ish% more damage. So whenever you get to tier 7, and I think that's like level 20, I don't remember. I'm sleepy still. Then you take that, right? Okay, so this is kind of how it looks like, right? Ripwire ballista. I still have a freezing salvo with a weapon swap. Short bow from my early thing. But that's about it. Yeah. Well, okay. Let's go over the passive tree. I think that was the next one. Yep. Passive tree. Okay. So there's still no POB up, so I can't link you anything down below because it's still Ranger Start, and Ranger Start is different. Also, these new nodes, all the new nodes I took are not in there yet, so it is what it is. That's probably something I'll have to do at the end of week 1. But for now, I can show you what I'm kind of doing. So you go through all the increased damage. This is in general really important. All the increased damage everywhere is what you want to get. All the increased damage. A little bit of attack speed maybe. The pen node here is really good. So you go through here. Now, at first, you go through these 2 nodes. You don't need the accuracy until you ascend, right? So at the very start, you go attribute, 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 depending on what you need. Probably dexterity, right? Then you go down. Dexterity, dexterity. This here is the first thing you take. All pen, super good. And you would have even noticed if they didn't triple the HP of all monsters, right? Cool. All right, then this one I didn't take until later either because it's accuracy related again, right? But this is a very nice node for later. I went down. I mean, I have nothing here right now. It is what it is. I went for catalysis, and then I went for maiming strike. Also, do note to go to the right side here because this small node has movement speed. This one doesn't. Now, after you ascend, you get your first point critical strike, and then you're going to respec these 2 points and put them in here to get the accuracy and path through here. Also, do note that every point of dexterity, if you hover over it, you can see 1 dexterity equals 5 accuracy. So 5 dex is 25 accuracy. Very, very strong early on. Here I took strength because I needed it for the crossbow, but otherwise you should pump everything you can into dex. Then you take precision salvo, super strong node. The ones like you get attack speed, accuracy, just a really nice thing all around. Now the next thing I'm probably going to do is I'm going to take blinding strike for the blind. This is all increased damage, like I said, really, really strong. To go for one of the new clusters here, which is disorientation damage with hits against blighted enemies. These small nodes are also 15, 15. Seems to be very strong. I don't know if this is too much ramp up time with only 10% chance, but it should be fine. And after that, this is a little bit an interesting one. I either will go in this region or I will go up, but I'm pretty sure with crit working, I want to make my way up and start taking some of them. So I'm going to go up. I'm going to start taking flow state. I'm going to start taking essence of the mountain. Crashing wave seems really good. Moment of truth seems really good. And after all of that, maybe tenfold attacks, maybe killer instinct, and then at some point make my way up to the huge crit cluster that is, yeah, a huge power spike. I will have a screenshot of this down below in the description. But yeah. Now, how did I start out with? The first thing you want to take is, as I said, Contagion. I don't know if I still have it here somewhere. I don't think so. So on the elemental here, you want to go Contagion. Contagion is extremely, Occult. Contagion is extremely nice early on, only for the first like 5 to 8 levels. You put it on an enemy, you kill that enemy, and the thingy spreads around. You don't really have any scaling for it, so it falls off pretty quickly, but it's super, super nice early. Now, then you go Lightning Arrow and Lightning Rod, and I've played this before the patch. I know how it felt, and it felt a lot worse. I checked the numbers on PewDiePie. It's enemy HP. It's not the skills themselves, so they removed on 1/4 of the HP, so I'm assuming it feels better now. It felt pretty meh for me, but it is what it is. I got through, right? I killed Geonor, everything. Lightning Arrow plus lightning rod. Now on lightning rod, you probably want, yeah, you definitely want the scatter shot on lightning rod, and probably conk effect as well. And then on lightning arrow, you want martial tempo. Where is it? You want martial tempo and then probably lightning infusion, right, for the extra damage. So that's kind of what you're going to be running around with. And yeah, that's basically about it. You can also throw in a flame wall. That is for sure a good option. I personally didn't really use it all that much because it was a lot of micromanagement and everything's jumping at me with like triple my movement speed or whatever. But okay, if you're a good player, also position your flame wall correctly, you'll get some extra damage. Now also super important at gem level 5, which is right before Genor somewhere, like right before the Act 1 boss, get yourself a freezing salvo. It is mind-blowingly good. It is so goddamn good. Basically, it loads up these projectiles on top of you, and you can release them every 8 seconds or so, and it will deal a ton of damage. Now, they did nerf the freeze buildup, so it's not going to freeze as much anymore, but they did actually buff the damage. So this one is going to absolutely shred bosses, and you can also throw it in the middle of packs. It does need a little bit of, like, it has a small delay, and since enemies are, I don't know, I don't even know how fast, right? Like, way faster than you are ever. They will run at you, and then maybe you don't hit, so you have to, like, kind of approximate that. Also important, your first spirit gem should be Herald of Thunder. I also updated the notes to reflect that. So, yeah, this is in general something, yeah, notes are in the POB right now. If you've never done this before, you look here, notes. Now, not all of this is 100% correct anymore. I did not use grenades too much. I felt like they're pretty clunky. But if you use them, there is a support that, for example, reduces the delay. Those are things that you would have to do yourself, but I didn't personally use them all that much. Everything else still goes. I'm not at level 31 yet, so I can't tell you. Now, in Act 2, I went for Galvanic Shards, and Galvanic Shards is overall been pretty nice for clear. And once you have it, you go Ammo Conservation and Lightning Infusion. I personally felt like Ammo Conservation is better than Martial Tempo. Now, I did go for not Rapid Fire. You can go for Rapid Fire if you really want to. I actually went for Auto Attack with Concentrated Effect and Fire Infusion. Fire Infusion really, it depends on what you have here, right? So if you have a lot of lightning and cold damage, Fire Infusion is really bad because it reduces from those and adds fire. Like, you have to play around with this. This is up to you. It depends on what your crossbow is. For example, it might actually be that this is worse than Martial Tempo. I'll check in a second. But yeah, those are kind of the only ones I'm using right now. And then I have a Ripwire Ballista supported with Overabundance, which it has 16-second duration. So it just goes down to 8, which is still very manageable. But you can put down 2. Very nice on bosses. Very nice for pinning packs. And then I have the Martial Tempo here. All right, one quickie notice. We actually made a pretty cool setup. One of my guys in chat told me to go for Glacial Bolt, and I just tested it out, and it's pretty broken. So basically what happens is you fire out Glacial Bolts, and they spawn these walls. And what happens is your Artillery Ballista will actually fire on them. So in the background, I'll have a clip of the Dreadnought fight, which took around about 20-30 seconds or whatever. You can look at that yourself. So you get Glacial Bolt at level 22, I think, but it's not going to be all that great. It's going to be like, okay. But once you get the Artillery Ballista, it will absolutely shred. I think what's happening is these walls get their extra AoE, which then also splashes on top of the boss. Plus the walls explode, which gives you more damage. And it scales apparently with attack damage because the Frost Walls are spawned other than Frost Wall, which is a spell, right? These are actually spawned from an attack, so they should scale fully with attack damage, fully with crit. The setup will be linked down below in the description, but I'll quickly have it here. So it's Glacial Bolt, Cold Infusion, Ammo Conservation, and then Artillery Ballista with Overabundance and Martial Tempo. I sometimes press my Sniper's Mark, but not that often. Everything else, like Galvanic Shards, is basically on its way out. I don't really care anymore. I don't really auto-attack anymore. So that is the setup at level 31. 31 is where you get Artillery Ballista. Now, you really want this before the Dreadnought fight, otherwise it's gonna be a pain in the butt. Which means either you buy one from trade. These cost like 1 Exalt. So the way you search for them, you go Uncut Skill Gem here, and you do item level 9 exactly up top, Uncut Skill Gem, and that means you are getting a, yeah, there's a ton for 1 Exalt. You really want this, but you could drop one already on the way there, but you don't get a quest reward. So if you get lucky, you don't have to buy in. You can also farm the zone over and over. I dropped one, but I also bought one for another skill, so yeah, you probably have an Exalt at this point. So get that. Another important note, is you want a diet crossbow if you can, so you can also buy this from trade like I say in the video, but the loads and additional bolt is huge. You go from 1 to 2 bolts, so think about that as well. Ammo conservation helps a little bit, but yeah. That doesn't mean you just want any crossbow. You still want as much damage as possible, but diet is GG. So yeah, POB right now is not updated with the current values. I did put some notes in there to give you a little bit of a hint, but otherwise, I could just really give you this video, and I will be keeping leveling today if the game lets me, if I can actually play the video game. Other than that, just wanted to say if you had a terrible day one, most people I spoke to had a terrible day one. It's not gonna stop me from keep playing, but yeah. That's all I wanted to say. See you guys for more updates, and yeah, I'm tired.